Alright, so here we are in Portugal. I've got the S-Max from Simmerstyle Windsurfing here. This is our twin cam race sail, and I'm gonna teach you how to rig it step by step and how I rig it for racing. Ideally, you find a place that is not sandy, but we are here in Portugal, so this is the spot that we have to rig. So first of all, make sure if you rig on sand to have the mast, the extension and the boom. So basically the main hardware pieces that are not in contact with the sand, so they don't get stuck and then you run into problems. And make sure that after the session you rinse them out if they have been in contact with sand too much. Alright, so this is the 6.5 S-Max. I'm going to rig it on a 430 SDM mast, but it's important to say also that these sails come with an interchangeable camber, so you can rig it also on an RDM mast. Ben and I, for high performance, more like speed sailing and racing, we like the SDM better because we prefer the reactivity and more spring back from this mast. All right. All right. So we're gonna start by introducing the top through the bottom, and the mast is gonna slide over the cambers, not through them, not yet, but more over the camber. So. Okay, now we go here and make sure the top goes in. Extension. All right, so we're gonna use the extension now. This 6.5 rigs on 445, so that means we're gonna set it up on 16. I tend to put a little bit more downhaul on these race sails or free ride sails, as I normally sail them a little bit more powered up than you should, just because you want to go fast, right, when you are on this kind of sails. So yeah, and important here on the extension, you start from the middle below, then you go up, then you go to the top inside, then you go to the outside one, then you go below, you go again underneath and to the inside, and finally you go from the right one from underneath to the top, and you put it through this one finally. All right, so Ben, I think he taught on a previous video while rigging the VMAX, like a nice technique with the harness. I normally just do this bow thingy and I just downhaul it by hand. Yeah, I think it's definitely more practical to do it with the harness, but yeah, sometimes I just like to do it like this, just a little bit quicker. So I'm gonna downhaul just a little bit. So not too much, because otherwise we're gonna struggle to put the cambers. So it's easier to put the cambers through. Then I'm gonna put the boom first and give it a little bit of outhaul. All right. And probably I can explain that now also. You have an upper outhaul and a lower one. Depending if you want more control or a little bit more power, you're gonna use the bottom one or the top one. I normally tend to use the lower one, just because, as I said, I tend to sail these sails really powered up, and I feel a bit more comfortable when I use the bottom one. So we're gonna put a little bit of Outhaul now. And now the camber should go in easy, so we can press here while we push with the palm the camber into the right position. The same here, we push right here, and we, with the other palm, we push inwards towards the mast. And then you see that it goes in easily. All right, next step, I'm gonna finish with the downhaul. So I'm gonna do another bow thingy. I do use a little bit more downhaul, and as I said, it's mainly because I use them really overpowered, so then I can go a little bit faster. So you see the recommended one, for example, on the 6.5, recommended love is 445. So I set it up on 16 and I just do block to block instead. So then it just kind of sits with the right amount of tension for me, for what I like. You can see it has a nice twist. And then now the Outhaul for me is quite important on the race sails. Actually, I like to not put any Outhaul at all, really. So basically it's just like the ever so slightly little bit of tension. So basically that the batten and the sail is literally touching to the other side of the boom very easily. And that it's just because we want this deeper profile for more power and stability. So for the batten tension, like I focus mainly on the 3 foot battens. So here you want to crank them up because this is the area of the sail that's going to give you all the power. So yeah, you really got to make sure that there's enough batten tension on those 3 first battens. All right, now the little tack strap. Just grab the rope first and put it from underneath. I normally leave the little bow knot on it just as a safety thingy, so in case something happens and the whole rope comes undone, or I don't know, any kind of accident, I always like to just leave it on, then just kind of roll it up like that and put it in the little pocket here of the sail. And then we're going to do the tack strap. On the race sails I always gave it quite a bit of tension, but here I just give it like gentle tack just so it's tight, and then I just do like that, a little knot so it doesn't get in the way of our extension batten, and we close the little tack fairing velcro here. And this is how I rig the S-Max.